Okay, the psalm is Psalm 112. Denise?
The just man is the light in the darkness to the upright. The just man
is light and darkness to the upright.
Light shines through the darkness for the upright. He is gracious and merciful and just. Well for the man who is gracious and lends, who conducts his affairs with justice.
The just man is a light in darkness to the upright.
He shall never be moved. The just one shall be in everlasting remembrance. In evil report he shall not fear. His heart is firm, trusting in the Lord.
The just man is a light in darkness to the upright.
His heart is steadfast, he shall not fear. Lavishly he gives to the poor. His justice shall endure forever. His horn shall be exalted in glory.
The just man is a light in darkness to the upright. So this psalm, it talks about how we can be a light in the darkness for others, right? We're called to be a light. So when they see us, this should guide people to follow God. That's the key, is that our life, we should become as we become. When people see us, they should see Christ, right? That's really what we're called to do. We're called to be saints. And what does Mary's soul do? It magnifies the Lord, right? And when people see us, they should see the Lord more clearly. And they can see it. And the reason being is that when they see us doing something, they can see the works of God in action, right in front of them. And that's what, when they look at us and how we act and how we live, that should lead them closer to God. It's not just doing these acts, but our hearts also have to be aligned with God's heart, right? It has to be our intention and our motivation also behind it. It's not just, we're not just doing works trying to earn our way into heaven. That's, Catholics are often accused of that, but we don't believe in that. That's actually heresy. We don't earn our way to heaven. It's through the grace of God, right? We're filled with the grace. And I always say it's kind of like if you take a bottle and you shake it up and it's carbonated, what happens? It overflows. We're just overflowed with the love of God that flows from us. And I won't do it here, but I did in the past where I had a bottle and I shook it up and it went all over. But you guys have seen it, so no big surprise.
I didn't see it.
Oh, well, I'll have to do that next time. I sure will. He shall never be moved. The just one shall be in everlasting remembrance. An evil report he shall not fear. His heart is firm, trusting in the Lord. So we need to trust in God. And we need to trust in God especially. It's easy to trust in God when everything's going good. Everything's sailing along in your life and everything's going great. But it's hard to trust in God when you have a devastating diagnosis or you lose a family member. Then it's when it's so hard to trust in God, because then nothing makes sense. And that's when, we really have to look at God, because ultimately we only see a little slice of the picture. We don't see the whole picture. We're just seeing a slice of it. And we just have to trust that God we're his children, right? And he has our best intentions for us, just like the grandparents have the best intentions for Amelia. And, it's a similar thing. Compared to God, he's all good. He wants, his best intention for us is we make it to heaven. And so how many people, I look at my own cancer diagnosis and how many people I know that were praying for me, that turned closer to God, that listened to my testimony. And it's just amazing that, when we have something like this happen, in many, many cases, people who told me earlier that somebody had pancreatic cancer, 6 weeks they were gone, but they turned back to the faith and they received the sacraments and so they were reconciled with God before they went. Well, that's the most tremendous story you could ever hear. Yeah, he died, right? But that doesn't matter. We're all going to die. In 100 million years, he'll be in heaven. And all about it's going to be forgotten about. What's going to be glorified is that he repented. He was like the good thief, he repented and he's in heaven forever and ever and ever. So what a beautiful thing. I mean, yeah, it's painful for us that are left behind, for sure. But for that person, what an amazing story. What an amazing event. And so if you don't have, if you've rejected the faith and you've turned away from God, then you're truly alone. I mean, you will be alone, because where do you turn to? If you have this belief in the world that there is nothing when you die, then what a pitiful thing, that's hard, if you're faced with crises in your life, because then where do you turn? You think, wow, this is it, and if you don't have God, and then life has no meaning. I mean, it just seems to me, then why even live? I mean, in any way except for being extremely selfish. I mean, that's the logical course if you're going to die and become nothing. And so I typically point that out to people. I use take it to the extreme, and so kind of show, well, let's follow your way of living here to the logical extreme. And we kind of saw that in the 20th century, right? We saw that with all the, they kill people in the Holocaust and everything else. Without God, it's more expedient just to kill them and take their stuff. And that's what they did. And that's terrible. I mean, but that's kind of the logical conclusion of a world that doesn't have God or any morals to back it up. And where do these morals come from? They come from God, our moral God that we have. Also, his heart is steadfast, he shall not fear. Again, lavishly he gives to the poor. His justice shall endure forever. So our charity will live on forever and ever in heaven, right? Not just here on earth. I mean, it may be forgotten what you did, but it will never be forgotten your acts of charity you do in heaven. And so you're building up treasures in heaven. So the treasures we have on earth, we share, and that builds up treasures in heaven. And I mentioned if you have a hard time donating or giving to people and being generous, just tell the Lord. I mean, you're his child, right? You say, I have a hard time with that, Lord. I know when I came back to the faith, I was talking to Father John. I was like, wow, it's been like 26 years already. I was like, that's a long time ago. But I was, giving, just donating and doing stuff like that. I was like, I came from a family of 9. We really didn't have much money or anything. And so it was difficult to, I'd give a little bit, but like I wasn't that generous. And I said, Lord, I need a more generous heart. And I would pray a lot at the chapel or whatever. And the Lord helped me with that. I mean, it was amazing. And the one thing that Paul quotes Jesus as saying is, God loves a cheerful giver. And so that's, if you don't have that grace of being generous, ask the Lord for that help and trust that he'll help you with it. Because we do need to be generous, and it's because ultimately we're not going to be taking it with us. And there's so many people that are suffering, and we have to be wise on who we give to. It says, hold alms in your hand until your hand sweats in the Bible also, which means we should weigh who we're giving it to, making sure that these causes are in accord with God's purposes and his, you don't want to give to something that just because they have Catholic in their name, they may be for a lot of non-Catholic things like abortion and gay marriage and everything else, but they put Catholic in it to get money. And so we have to be wise and check out places that we give money to, but you give it with the right intention, right? And if they abuse it, that's on them, not on you, right? But I usually research them pretty good. But again, we have this give lavishly he gives to the poor, which is a very generous. It's not, here's begrudgingly, here's $1, go away. Why are you bothering me? And I think we have to have that compassion, because except for grace, there go I. It could be me. If I could have a devastating thing or a mental illness or something, and then I'm out on the street, holding up a sign, we'll just end it with that.